Hi, Claudio.
Hello, how are
I'm good, and you?
you? Good, good. I was listening to your conversation with the school representative.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, very
Already know
nice.
a bit about the course now, about this specific one on the Gold Coast?
It is, yeah, it is quite a good option actually. It's good. This is what I like about Queensland. Queensland has so many courses, so many options, so students can choose to study whatever they want. Something that are not available in many other states. And I wish all the states had the same course options as Gold Coast and Brisbane do.
Yeah, it's really good. We do have options, and it's really nice to talk to you, to see you again.
Mhm. My
And
pleasure. Yeah, long time,
I,
huh?
yeah, I really want to ask you. So we were just talking about this wall and floor tiling course. How
Mhm.
is it to get to try and get a permanent residency with this course? If I have this course, am I eligible to apply?
Well, it's not so simple as just being eligible because you taking the course, but obviously is one occupation that leads to permanent residency, right? So when you study the course, you will study towards being a professional wall and floor tiler, which is on the medium long term list. So it's a great opportunity, it's a great option, it's a very good pathway to migration in general. But we also have to like check many boxes before a person is eligible to become a permanent resident. At this moment, there aren't many good options for migration because of the pandemic and everything. But Wine for Tyler historically is a very good option.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. And then, so would you say, is there many, like a very big difference between choosing a different trade course than the wall and floor tiling?
All trade courses are basically the same pathway. It's usually a 2-year course, and then they progress to the graduate visa for 18 months, in which they have to work for at least 12 months in their trade. So they do that to complete the job ready program from TRA. And from that moment, they get a skills assessment to apply for a skill visa. Uh, it is the same process for all the trades, regardless if it's painting and decorating, wall and floor tiling, carpentry, um, um, any other trade, commercial cookery. They always have the same pathway: 2-year course, graduate visa, 1 year working, and skills assessment to apply for the graduate visa, for the skill visa. The only difference is to check if the trade is available on the state skill occupation list on the state they have where they have studied or they have been working.
Okay, that's nice. And then, would you say that if I do only the certificate three in wall and floor tiling, would be enough to graduate and then try a PR, or would it be better if I could package with another course?
I was checking the website for the entrepreneurs institution, and their course is enough because they have the minimum weeks in Cricos. They have 93 weeks, and the minimum was 92. So if they take the certificate 3 is already enough, they will be eligible for the graduate visa, in which they will be able to complete the job ready program. There are some certificate 3 in wall and floor tiling that are just for 1 year. And because they have to study 2 years, sometimes the students will have to package with another course to complete the 2-year study. So the course will have to be related to tiling. So it will have to be something related to construction. So in states, for example, in New South Wales is very common because the certificate trade there has only 1 year. But for entrepreneur institution, only the course is enough because they have 2 years.
Okay, yeah. This is a really important information. So all the time, please tell me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, if you want to apply for a graduate visa and try and get a PR in Australia, you need to do this course for at least 92 weeks, is it?
That's correct. That's correct. It's not any course that you can study to be eligible for the graduate visa. This is something many people get it wrong. You have to study a course that leads to a occupation that is in the medium long-term list, and you have to study related course for at least 2 years. So this course covers everything because the occupation is on the medium long-term list. It has 2 years, and you don't need to package with any other course, and you have to match how they relate. So it's just one course. You study that certificate 3, and then you can already apply for your graduate visa.
Perfect. That's great. And could you please just explain a little bit for us, how are the steps to get this pathway with the wall and floor tiling?
Sure. Yeah. First, you have to study the certificate 3, which has the minimum duration of 2 years, 92 weeks. So it's great. Perfect. And you must, during the course, you must do at least 360 hours of work placement, regardless if it's included in the course or at your workplace that you find a job. And the course also includes that. So this is good because you can do the work placement during the course. And when you complete the work placement and the course, you need to reach a minimum competent English on IELTS or PTE with a minimum band score of vocational. Let's talk in English scores, 6 average with a minimum 5 on each band. So then you can apply for the graduate visa. When you are
general on IELTS or academic?
It can be general or academic. Most people will go for the general, especially trades, because it's nothing academic, it's all hands-on. So it's most people will go for the academic, for the general, sorry. So they will have to reach competent English on average with a minimum band of vocational. So 6 on IELTS on average with a minimum 5. So when they complete the course, complete the work placement and reach the minimum IELTS score, they can go for the graduate visa. And during the graduate visa, they will have to complete the job ready program. When they complete the course and the minimum work placement hours of 360 hours, they will have completed the step 1 of the job ready program, and then they will use the graduate visa for step 2, 3, and 4. Step 2 is 1,725 hours working as a tiler. So they will have to work on their trade to complete the step 2 for at least 12 months. That's 1,725 hours. When they complete step 2, they will progress to step 3, which is a practical assessment. So an assessor from TRA will probably go to their workplace, or they will have to do like a phone interview or a Skype interview, something like that, to assess if they have hands-on ability on their trade. And the step 4 is just bureaucracy, it's just paper, send pay slips and everything to get a skills assessment. When the applicant has the skills assessment, we will have to check their point score to see if they are eligible for a skill visa. And we also have to check if they are eligible for any state nomination or even the skill visa through the 189. So usually we check the state to see if the state has tiling in their list, and if they do, what they require. Depending on the stage, they might require that you must have studied on the stage, or you must be working for at least 3 months, 6 months, 1 year on a full-time basis or part-time basis. Each state will be different. Usually in Queensland, the state requires 3 months of full-time work in a regional area, or 6 months in Brisbane. At the moment, the state is closed for application, but usually it's what they require. But because you have done the 1,725 hours of work placement during the graduate visa, you already meet the requirements. So you don't have to do anything else. So basically study the course, work for 1 year, reach the minimum point score, and let's see if you're already eligible for the visa, because we have to check if the state will be open when we are finally ready.
That is good. I have another question about you said that during the graduate visa, they need to work as a tiler, right? So do they need to work on TFN or ABN would count? Can they prove
Yeah,
ABN?
yeah, I had clients who had worked on ABN and they was still accepted. It's just that you cannot, you need really to have someone working above you with more experience, because you, during this 1 year, you need to be working under supervision. So if you are working on an ABN, you must inform TRA that you have been working for such company on an ABN contract, but you need to say who is your employer and how experienced they are to supervise you during this work. So it's not a matter of being an ABN. It's not a problem, as long as you are working for a company and not just on an ABN by yourself and doing, you know, like lots of jobs for clients with no one supervising you. You can be on a ABN contract, but you need a supervisor.
Okay, and then so during the graduate visa, it's gonna be around 18 months, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah,
Nice.
exactly. We have 18 months to complete the 3 remaining steps of the job ready program. The longest one is the step 2, which lasts for 12 months. After the 12 months, they still have 6 months to complete step 3 and 4 and apply for their visa. So it's enough time. Most people don't have any problem with that.
Okay. So I just have a question here. Do I have to have any prior experience or study to join the course? No. Would be good for you if you could maybe try and get a job at construction first, just to be sure that this is something that you like doing, because construction is not an easy job before you start the course. I think because sometimes the student just, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this course because then I can get my permanent residency in Australia, but then they start and they hate the course. So I think it's nice to have a prior experience in this way, you know, but not because it's the entry requirement for the course. It is not. But I have a question here about this as well. So the student that don't have any previous experience, if they just did the 360 hours and then the graduate visa, so they would be eligible, right? They don't need to have like prior experience from Brazil or something like that.
No, yeah, they will be eligible. They don't need any previous experience because it's a vocational course. It's a 2-year vocational course, and the vocational course is there to prepare you for the trade. So even if you worked in finance in your home country and you want to start as a tiler here in Australia, this is the perfect course.
Perfect. Another question here. What if I work in the ABN for another person who has also only an ABN? Is it possible to prove the work hours and get the 485? So
Well,
so it's about the graduate visa, is it? Just want to
yeah,
make sure that.
the graduate visa. The thing is, ABN is a company. So if you, well, not necessarily a company, but it is a business. So if you are working under an ABN, you have your own business. If you are working for another ABN, you are you have like a between two business, you have a contract, right? So it's the same. For example, if I work for I don't know, a company like a construction company, the company also has an ABN. So I am under an ABN working and indirectly for that company. So if they write a letter saying, yeah, this person has been working for me and everything, and they issue invoices and everything, it should be fine. But we have to check how much experience this other person on ABN has. So if they have more experience than you and you are working with them, it might be the case that it will be accepted. But the TRA will judge that. the TRA will have to accept your application. They will say, okay, who this person is working with or who this person is working for. And they will have to check if the business that you are working offers all the tools and requirements for you to use your trade. So use the knowledge that you gain through the course in your trade, in your work experience. So it's not me or no one else who will be assessing that, but TRA.
Okay. And then, so if we do this wall and floor tiling course, the only possibility is it through migrating, independently, or can we get a sponsor visa?
That's also a possibility. Sometimes people go until the end of their graduate visa and the state is closed or they haven't been invited for the skill visa. We can check their eligibility for a sponsor visa. The only thing is that sponsors visa usually require a minimum 2-year experience, and people will have 18 months experience during the graduate visa. So it's a bit tricky. We have to check how much school holidays they had after the course finished, how much they stayed on the bridging visa, and if they're during their course, if they had been working on the skill level required, we can count that as experience. So if by the end of the graduate visa they are not eligible for any skill visa and they have at least completed 2-year work experience, we can check if it's possible to get a sponsor visa through the company they have been working for.
Okay, so you would say that maybe if this student, during the 360 hours that they did during the course, would it be possible to count, or just after the course was finished?
We have to check on a case by cases. It's just because we have to check if they had been paid, what were their tasks, if they were really a tiler or just as an assistant. If they were an assistant to a tiler, probably the experience will not be accepted. But if they were really working as a tiler and doing everything, all the tasks that a tiler do and being paid for their trade, yeah, so maybe we can try to assess that the experience as at the minimum 2 year that the person will need, plus whatever time they spent on the bridging visa, school holidays. We can always check how much experience they have by the end of the graduate visa.
Perfect. We got another question. How can I apply for the 485 visa working in the ABN for a builder who has only an ABN and he wrote a letter to prove my hours, my work activities, and I show my bank statement? Is it enough?
It's very specific. We have to check again how much this other builder has of experience, how established is their business, how much work they have been doing. It's very complex and it's hard to just say yes or no. We have to check each one and say, what's your circumstances? What's your work arrangements with this person? How much you have been working with them? How experienced they are? So then we can check if we can use that experience or not.
Yeah, so in this case, it would be better just to send a message to Claudio and maybe make an appointment to get more information, because it's really specific. It's always case by case. And Claudio, about the possibility to try and get a permanent residence, is there really a difference in, for example, studying here on the Gold Coast because we are regional, and then studying in Sydney, for example? What would you say about it?
It's always preferable to study in a regional area just because you get extra 5 points. And most of people will, these five extra points will make a difference. Another thing is that most states protect their international students. So let's say if you study in Gold Coast, maybe by the end of your course, Gold Coast will make special arrangements for international students of the state, like many other states do. South Australia protects their students, Western Australia too, Tasmania and Northern Territory, they have graduate pathways. So they say, okay, if you have studied here in the state, I will give you preference in inviting you for the skill visa. Queensland had also something similar, but just for master graduates, for people who had studied master or PhD. They might make different arrangements because now they have closed for applicants. So, and if you're still thinking of starting the course, you don't have to worry about what's happening now. You must worry about what will happen in 2 years when you conclude the
Yeah.
course. Requirements must be all different. So if you prefer, and if you can work, if you can study in a regional area, it's best because we get extra 5 points. And by the time you close, if you finish the course, we might check the state is not giving preference to international students of the state. So it might be beneficial.
Oh, that's good to know. And then would you say that there is a better state to study this course specifically?
The thing about this course and most trades, they're not available in many states. Like I said, Gold Coast and Brisbane are privileged because they have many options of courses. One for Tiling, if I'm not mistaken, is only available in Queensland. In New South Wales, I think there's also a course there. In Victoria or in Western Australia. I don't think it is available in places there where there are good migration pathways. For example, Tasmania or South Australia, they don't have this course there. So sometimes we have to assess the possibility of studying in Gold Coast or in Victoria or even Perth. And then when you get the graduate visa, maybe you move states and go to a state where the migration pathway is better. For example, here in Western Australia, we have many options of this course here, but we don't have on the list. In Queensland, you have options of this course, but the list is closed. In Victoria, the occupation is not on the list, but they have courses. So sometimes it's hard to match the course to the state. So when we do the migration plan, sometimes I'll say, like you are in Northern Territory, move to Gold Coast, you study there, and when you finish the course, maybe you go back to Northern Territory and we apply there. We have to check by the time the person finishes the course, what's the best stage to migrate.
That is good. Just one more question because we don't have much time now. So about the English, because I think this is one of the most important things to migrate to Australia. So how good does it need to be?
Well, this is the good thing about trades. Immigration or most states will not require you to have an excellent level of English. Usually the competent English, the same one that you use for the graduate visa, it will usually be enough for you to apply for your skill visa. It can vary, especially depending on your point score. So let's say you are over 40 years old, or if you don't have like a bachelor's degree from your home country, or if you study in a place that is not regional, sometimes you're losing points that we might need to find points somewhere else. And English is always an option to increase 10 points by just improving 1 point in your English score. It's 10 points or your point score for visa. So usually 6 on IELTS competent English is enough for most people. But if you are losing too much points in age, qualification, or study, we might have to recover that on English.
Okay. I think I have time for one more last question, but really important. How much do I need to save to apply for a PR?
Well, the PR is a long process for most people, especially the ones that are still studying or they're still thinking about studying a course to allow to apply for the permanent visa later. But it will always start with the course fees and student visa application fees. When you finish the course, you still will have many costs, but maybe not as much as the school fees, because you will have to apply for the Job Ready program. The Job Ready program altogether can come up to $3,000. You have to apply for your graduate visa. You will spend about probably something close to $3,000 again. And then you have to apply for like a state. and depending on the state, some states are free, some states will charge $600, $700. If you need assistance from the migration agent, the migration agent will charge their fees, maybe sometimes $800, $1,000. And then you have to finally apply for your visa, which can vary depending if you are using a migration agent, if you are including family, or in which state you are applying. But altogether, I believe people will have to prepare to spend something around $15,000, but not altogether at once, because they will be applying many steps.
$1,000 since like applying for the graduate visa and then all the steps of the graduate visa and then the PR or the temporary residency. So 15,000 would be like an average of
exactly. Yeah, it will depend a lot, but 15,000, which it is what I believe most people will spend. But the good news is that at the beginning you don't spend as much. You just spend for the graduate visa, which is pretty cheap compared to everything else, and then you have 1.5 years to just work and save money, so you can prepare for when the higher costs come, which is the application for the permanent visa. You are prepared.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Claudio. It was nice, all this information. So now it will be easier for me as well when my students are here at the agency. It's always good to have this kind of information. Thanks for the partnership and see you soon. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much, all of you, for all the questions, for all the participation. And soon we're going to have more lives as well about different courses.
Thank you. Bye-bye.